In the history of art, the figure of Judith has undergone many transformations. Judith has been associated with heroism and patriotism, masculinity and aggression, seduction and guile. These contrasting associations heavily impact artistic depictions. What these changes signify is up for debate, but Judith's role as a woman is central to her story, and pivotal in artistic interpretations of the famous scene. The story of Judith comes down to us from a controversial segment of the Bible. The account is significant for several reasons, most important of which is that Judith is one of few women in early Judeo-Christian literature to play a significant role in politics and military victories. According to the story, Judith was an attractive Hebrew widow who gained the favor of the Assyrian general Holofernes during his campaign against her countrymen. Gaining access to his tent one night when he was drunk, she cut off his head, thereby winning an enormous victory for her people. In early depictions of Judith, she is seen to represent virtues such as humility, chastity, justice, and good citizenship. As a story that lent itself to allegory, Judith became the personification of the church at times as well. In these paintings, she is often shown as virginal, with heroic, almost masculine stature. During the Renaissance, Judith's image began to change. She was shown as a seductress, sometimes even nude. The fact that she had achieved her goal through her physical charms was a major focus of the art of that time. No longer the virtuous widow, Judith became a more sexualized and complicated figure. The story gained more secular overtones, the scene became more animated. This relates to the decreased role of the church in art and the gradual motion of women from the home into the public sphere. During the Baroque period, paintings of Judith became more violent and threatening. Life was more difficult due to the Reformation and the 100 Years' War. This painting, by Artemisia Gentileschi, a woman painter of the Italian Baroque, has a deeply personal aspect to it. The face of Holofernes is the face of a man who raped her. Artemisia painted herself in the role of Judith, able to protect herself in art as she had not been able in life. The story of Judith was empowering to her, and power became the focus of later paintings. Judith's sexualization in Renaissance and Baroque painting had a very aggressive, somewhat negative and threatening aspect. The sword and bloodied head of Holofernes are given pride of place. She is most often shown during the murder itself rather than in the aftermath. Artists of the Vienna Succession Group also painted Judith in a unique and distinctive style. Gustav Klimt, the artist who painted this famous work, showed Judith as alluring and feminine, but with a latent power behind the delicate filigrees of gold. Soft brushstrokes cannot conceal the triumph and lack of guilt or shame. The same can be said of this second painting, in which her arrogant expression confronts the viewer, and the decapitated head takes second place in attention to her face. Similarly, in Franz Stuck's painting here, Judith seems to flaunt her body, savoring the moment in which, for once, she has agency. Though the passage of time has altered the presentation of Judith, the element of empowerment remains constant. Judith's use of her body to achieve her goals is often focused on to a disproportionate degree. What about the fact that, though a widow and alone in the world, she took control of her life, picked up a sword, and became a hero? She seduced Holofernes and killed him, turning the tide of history, disheartening and scattering an entire army. Perhaps she saw her act as patriotic. Perhaps it was flavored by religious fervor. Regardless, the blow Judith struck has echoed down through history, inspiring women from every century to maximize their agency and take action against all odds.